everyone, welcome to Actual English. I'm Jennifer Clyde. It's time for lesson 358 and our topic for today's lesson is Pets and Animals 3. Let's focus on exotic animals, exotic pets that people have. So if you are a pet owner, what kind of pet do you raise or have? Could be a cat, could be a dog most commonly, but some people really do raise exotic animals as pets. I've seen people raising snakes, iguanas, lizards. Now these are all reptiles, but I'm not a huge fan of reptiles, so I don't think I would ever be able to have a reptile as a pet. But there are people around the world that even have spiders as pets. So these are definitely exotic animals or exotic pets. So we'll talk about that today. If you're ready, let's begin with Actual Talk.
Kelly, exotic animals. In Ireland, over the last 5-10 years, people went a bit crazy buying exotic animals. There was a lot of money around with not many restrictions. And guys were buying snakes and crazy spiders and all these different types of things with, not knowing how to care for them properly.
Spiders?
Yeah.
I just got shivers up my back
Did you?
when you said spiders.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate them.
Do you
Sorry.
really? Yeah.
I don't hate them. I scream when I see them, and I can't even bring myself to kill them, but yeah.
I'm the same, actually.
Sorry, please continue.
No problem. I have a funny story about a snake, though. I heard from a friend of a friend. He was keeping a snake in his bedroom in a kind of a glass case beside his bed. And he thought it was great. And this was quite a large snake, quite a dangerous snake, apparently.
Is your friend mad?
A friend of a friend. I think he is actually mad. Anyway, the snake started to stare at him, and over a couple of days and weeks, its body began to grow a little bit. So he thought, God, it must be pregnant. So he got a snake expert in, and, when's it having its babies? And the expert said, oh, it's not pregnant. It's not a woman. It's a male snake. It's sizing you up and preparing its body to attack and eat you. Oh. So, needless to say, he got rid of the snake and had a mild heart attack.
Yeah. Wow. That story's a keeper.
It is a keeper, yeah. The snake isn't, though. It's not a keeper.
I gotta say, that's one of the best exotic animal stories I've heard. I've heard of zoos. I actually had a hedgehog in Canada. That was trendy. I've had a ferret. People have kept squirrels, but that takes the cake. I mean, and I've definitely never had a pet that's wanted to eat me.
No. So safety's a big issue, right? Yeah.
I guess everybody loves what they love. I mean, we have lizards and small snakes, but too extreme for me.
Yeah, these wild animals, they should be in the wild, right?
I think so.
That was a conversation between Gareth and Kelly. I hope that you enjoyed it. Okay, then, since we listened to what they were talking about related to exotic pets, let's take a look at Actual Talk together. Okay, here we go. First of all, Gareth says, Kelly, exotic animals. Well, you may already know what exotic means, but just in case, let's go over it as we can practice the pronunciation of the word as well. If you say that something is exotic, you mean that it's strikingly unusual. It's amazing. It's outrageous at times, but usually you're saying that something is very unusual or very different. Unique is a positive synonym for exotic as well. So here we're talking about exotic animals as an adjective. Very unusual animals or very unique animals that people keep as pets. Okay? So he says in Ireland over the last 5-10 years, people went a bit crazy buying exotic animals. Now, go crazy means what? It can mean to actually go mentally insane, okay, mean to go crazy, to lose one's mind, to go mentally insane. But here, he's saying that people went a little bit crazy buying exotic animals. They went crazy doing something. It means that it was, I guess, a popular trend at the time. Everybody was going out to buy exotic animals, okay? So that was what it was like maybe 5-10 years ago in Ireland, okay? He's giving an example of how things were in Ireland 5-10 years ago. And then he explains there was a lot of money around with not many restrictions. A restriction is like a limitation. Okay, so there were no boundaries, no limitations, okay, no rules, for example. So people were going crazy buying this animal, that animal, all different kinds of exotic animals because they had lots of money. They didn't know what to do with the money, all right? And guys, let's see, what were guys buying? Men, guys, boys. Now, they were buying snakes and crazy spiders and all these different types of things, okay? So they were buying, what, snakes, once again, what else? Spiders, and all these different types of things, not knowing how to care for them properly. The point is that they did not know, not knowing how to care for them, okay? Of course, this is a very, very serious problem. When people go out to buy pets, I don't like to use the word buy animals, but it is true you pay money to, bring a pet home. You could adopt animals, but anyhow, that's not the point. What he's saying is that you need to know how to care for animals. If you're going to keep them as pets, they're not toys. They have lives. They breathe just like us. So you need to take care of them. But the problem is that they did not know how to care for them properly, okay, the right way. And then Kelly says, I just got shivers up my back when you said spiders. So she says, when she heard the word spiders, she got shivers up her back. She got chills all over her body. Okay, I think in Korean we say 닭살 돋는다. Okay, in English we usually say we get the chills. Ah, that gave me the chills, or I got the chills. You can also say I got shivers up my back. Okay, up your back. I got shivers up my spine is also another expression. She's just saying that, I don't like the sound of spiders. And then she says, oh, I hate them, sorry. Do you really? Meaning, do you really hate spiders? Now, Kelly says, I scream. I yell when I see them, and I can't even bring myself to kill them. Okay. Now, this is a pattern we'll be taking a look at today. Now, can or can't can be left out. So can't could be left out, but bring oneself to do something basically means to force yourself to do something that is quite unpleasant, okay? So here she's saying, I can't bring myself to kill them. She's saying, oh, I can't even kill them. I can't even go near a spider, okay? We'll practice this pattern later on in more detail. And she says, oh, sorry, please continue. Meaning, I'm sorry for cutting you off. You were speaking and I interrupted you, so sorry. Please continue. This is what you can say in a situation when you cut somebody off, meaning to, I guess, interrupt somebody when he or she is speaking. Okay, you can say, oh, sorry, please continue. Oh, please continue. Okay, so Gareth moves on. He says, oh, no problem, meaning no need to be sorry. I have a funny story. Okay, about a snake though. Here we go. He's going to tell us about a snake story. Okay, I heard from a friend of a friend's friend, in other words. Okay, what happened? He was keeping a snake in his bedroom. So he was keeping a snake where? in his bedroom in a kind of a glass case beside his bed. Okay? So the point is that he had a snake. He kept it in his bedroom in a little glass case beside or next to his bed. Now, these are keywords you want to pay attention to, okay? Now we know what's happening. And then he says, this was quite a large snake, quite a dangerous snake, apparently. Apparently basically means seemingly, okay? When something appears to be something, you're not saying that you're 100% sure, but it looks like something. It seems to be. It appears to be. You would say apparently. A synonym would be obviously in some cases. So anyhow, he's saying, well, to tell you the truth, actually, apparently it was a large snake. Quite a dangerous snake. Moving on. And Kelly says, is your friend mad? Mad meaning crazy? Insane? Why was he keeping a big snake that was growing bigger and bigger next to him in his bedroom? Anyhow, Gareth says, he's a friend of a friend, meaning he may be insane. He's not my friend. He's a friend of a friend. I think he is actually mad. Once again, not angry, but he means crazy. Anyway, the snake started to stare at him. Okay, stare means what? We went over this word several times. You could look at something. Look. Look at something. Okay? I could look at this remote control. Okay? I could look at you. I'm looking at you right now. Okay, you could stare at something or someone. I'll stare at you, for example. Actually, I'll be staring into the camera, but here, I'll be staring into the camera. That's staring. Looking is looking. Staring is okay? So anyhow, the snake started to stare at him. And over a couple of days, okay? Over a couple of days. Meaning this happened over several days and weeks. Its body began to grow a little bit. So he thought, God, it must be pregnant. It must have baby snakes. This is what his friend or his friend's friend thought. So what did he do? He got a snake expert in, meaning he asked a snake expert to come to his home. So he got a snake expert in and asked, when is it having its babies? And the expert said what? Oh, it's not pregnant. It's not a woman. Actually, he should have said female. It's not a female snake. It's a male snake. And it's not pregnant. Okay? It's sizing you up and preparing its body to attack and eat you. Okay? So this is what the expert said. So, now do you have an understanding of what's happening? The expert comes and he looks at the snake that's quite big. It's growing and growing. And he says, this is not a female snake. It's a male snake. It's not pregnant. It's just growing and growing and growing. And you know what? This snake is sizing you up. Size someone up. Okay? Size someone up basically means to, I guess, form an opinion or a judgment, to kind of estimate. So in this case, he's saying that the snake is sizing him up, meaning just watching how big this guy is, if the snake can win him or not, okay? So he's estimating, he's thinking really hard inside his head, and he's preparing its body to attack and eat him. I know there's probably an exaggeration here, but this is what happened, okay? So, needless to say, he got rid of the snake. So, needless to say, this is used to express something or when you're just about to give information about something that's pretty obvious, that's not surprising. We'll practice that later on as well. So, needless to say, he got rid of the snake. He gave it away, he threw it away. I don't know what he did, but he got it out of his home and had a mild heart attack. Well, Kelly says, and then she stutters, that story is a keeper. That story is a keeper. What does keeper mean? We have zookeepers, for example, animal keepers, okay? Keepers are people that keep something, okay? All right, or take care of people or animals at the zoo, for example. They're called zookeepers, okay? They maintain things as well. But here, keeper has a different meaning. She says the story is a keeper. What does it mean? It means that it is something worth keeping or trying to keep. It's good, for example. Oh, that's good. That story is worth keeping, okay? Worth telling more and more people. So he says the snake isn't, though, not the snake. It's not a keeper. The snake is not a keeper. That's one of the best exotic animal stories I've heard, she says. I've actually had a hedgehog in Canada. That was trendy, she says. Now, I just added I for you just in case you might have wondered, why did Kelly say I've actually had? I will leave a brief explanation on our script, so you can check that out after the lesson today, or you can check it as we speak right now. But usually, I've had, okay? I've had something, or I had something. They're used interchangeably, okay? You can say I've had or I had. Usually people say that if you say I've had something, you're not giving a definite time of when it happened. It just happened sometime in the past. But these are both used interchangeably, okay? So don't get too confused. You could say I had or I've had as well. Anyhow, Kelly says, I've actually had a hedgehog in Canada. Why? It was trendy. And she says, I've had a ferret. People kept squirrels. So these are some quite exotic animals, unusual pets. But that takes the cake. What takes the cake? She's talking about that snake that Gareth has talked about, that story. That story takes the cake. That snake takes the cake. We're saying that it's probably the best example. Hey, it's the super best story, okay? I've definitely never had a pet that's wanted to eat me. And then she moves on. Nope, safety is a big issue. Safety is very, very important. And Kelly says, I guess everybody loves what they love, and they will raise what they want to raise. We have lizards and small snakes, but she says too extreme for me, meaning lizards and snakes are too much for me. I don't think I can have them as pets. And of course, Gareth finishes off by saying these wild animals, okay, they should be in the wild. Wild animals, we're talking about animals that are not tamed, not trained. They should be left to live in the wild. Okay, let's take a listen one more time.
Kelly, exotic animals. In Ireland, over the last 5-10 years, people went a bit crazy buying exotic animals. There was a lot of money around with not many restrictions. And guys were buying snakes and crazy spiders and all these different types of things with, not knowing how to care for them properly.
Spiders?
Yeah.
I just got shivers up my back
Did you?
when you said spiders.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate them.
Do
Sorry.
you really? Yeah.
I don't hate them. I scream when I see them, and I can't even bring myself to kill them, but yeah.
I'm the same, actually.
Sorry, please continue.
No problem. I have a funny story about a snake, though. I heard from a friend of a friend. He was keeping a snake in his bedroom in a kind of a glass case beside his bed. And he thought it was great. And this was quite a large snake, quite a dangerous snake, apparently.
Is your friend mad?
A friend of a friend. I think he is actually mad. Anyway, the snake started to stare at him. And over a couple of days and weeks, its body began to grow a little bit. So he thought, God, it must be pregnant. So he got a snake expert in and, when is it having its babies? And the expert said, oh, it's not pregnant. It's not a woman. It's a male snake. It's sizing you up and preparing its body to attack and eat you. So, needless to say, he got rid of the steak.
Wow.
I had a mild heart attack. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That story's a keeper.
It is a keeper, yeah. The snake isn't, though. It's not a keeper.
I gotta say, that's one of the best exotic animal stories I've heard. I've heard of zoos. I actually had a hedgehog in Canada. That was trendy. I've had a ferret. People have kept squirrels, but that takes the cake. I mean, and I've definitely never had a pet that's wanted to eat me.
No. So safety's a big issue, right? Yeah.
I guess everybody loves what they love. I mean, we have lizards and small snakes, but yeah. Too extreme for me.
Yeah, these wild animals, they should be in the wild, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's now time for actual expressions. Let's first of all take a look at a couple of vocab words and then move on to about 4 patterns for today. Here we go. First, very quickly, exotic. Here we go. Although it starts with an E, it's more of an I sound. Exotic. Stress goes there. Exotic. Exotic. It means unique, mysterious, different, and unusual. What about restriction? Restriction, as you see, there we go. Strike. The stress goes there. It means limited or control or controlled as well. If something is restricted, it is controlled or limited. Apparently, you're saying that something is quite probable. So, probably. Possibly is an easy synonym, okay? Apparently and keeper. Just take a look at how it is pronounced. It's an easy word, keeper, keeper. Okay, can't bring oneself to do something or bring oneself to do something basically means to force yourself to do something you don't want to do or to force yourself to do something that is quite unpleasant, okay? I just can't bring myself to tell my parents that I'm moving out this weekend, okay? I can't bring myself to tell my parents what? That I'm moving out this weekend. So you're saying it's unpleasant, they're not gonna like it, I don't know how to tell them. It's difficult to tell them that I'm moving out, okay? What about this one? Size up. Size something or someone up means to give an estimate, kind of judge, give an opinion, think about, okay? So size someone up. My opponent started to size me up when we met for the match. So what are we trying to say in this sentence? Let's say we have 2 opponents, okay? They meet for the first time. Let's say UFC, you're fighting each other. And then you size each other up. So how big is this guy? Is he stronger than me? Bigger, taller? Okay, you're kind of forming an estimate in your head. Okay, you're sizing someone up. Moving on to needless to say. Here's a sample sentence. Needless to say, Mary won't last here for more than 3 months. You're saying, yeah, it's pretty obvious, you know. Needless to say, I don't really have to say this. It's pretty obvious. She won't last here. She won't stay here. She'll be out or away from here in 3 months. And then moving on to our final one, to take the cake basically means to win the prize, to be very, very good, outstanding, okay? To be the best, for example. Here we go with a sample sentence. I've seen many performances of the Nutcracker, but this one takes the cake. So, when would you say this? When you think that this performance was the best, it was outstanding, you would say, I have seen many performances of the Nutcracker. I've seen many of them, but this one, hey, takes the cake. This one is the best of the best, okay? So please do go over these patterns more on your own and the vocab words. And that is a wrap for this segment.